Khamzat boss Chimaev is back and he will be taking on number 11 Li the Leech Jingliang in a welterweight clash. UFC 267, October the 30th, Abu Dhabi. Hello everybody and welcome to Prefight Breakdowns with me on the bottom line. So today I want to talk about fight number 5 that I'm super pumped for on the UFC 267 card, Blachowicz versus Teixeira, which will be coming to you live on Saturday, October the 30th. Now for those of you tuning in from further east, this is a fantastic opportunity to tune into Fight Night because it is happening from Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, which means given the timing, this will be a Saturday night event. No waking up early morning on Sunday or in the wee hours of the night to catch your favorite UFC action. So let's jump right into the fight for this video. Li the Leech Jingliang, who will take on Khamzat boss Chimaev. Now, Li Jingliang has had some very impressive performances in his lead up to this fight. Let's take a look at his record and see what he's come through. Now you see, of the last 5, the Leech has lost just one fight when he dropped a decision to the perennial gatekeeper of the top 10 in the welterweight division, Neil Magny. Now that's the only fight that didn't go his way. All the other 4 on that list, Jingliang managed to come out the man on top and get his hand raised. And get this guy has 6 performance bonuses in his last 8 appearances. So he's been doing something right. And the biggest thing in his favor, if you've seen the Leech fight before, is he's got great movement. He stays very active all the way through the fight. And he's a dangerous man to miss your shots against. He's a fantastic counterpuncher. And some of those knockouts he has on that record right now are actually instances when someone missed a punch and Lee was able to counter, capitalize on the occasion and put his opponent away. Now he's ranked number 11 and he's welcoming Khamzat Chimaev, who makes a comeback after 1 year. And of course, some complications post his tryst with COVID, unfortunately. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Khamzat Chimaev, he is just 3 fights old in the UFC. Now, all of these 3 fights happened in a span of just 66 days. He made his debut sometime late last year and he took the first fight they gave him. It was a middleweight fight, and well, what he did with his opponent was he picked up John Phillips, walked him over to the other end of the octagon, dumped him on his back, and proceeded to basically ground and pound out the man with instructions from his corner like it was some sort of training exercise. Well, he was in such good shape and took such little damage in that fight that they actually turned him around really quick and gave him another fight in 10 days' time. He actually cut weight, dropped an entire weight division 10 days after winning a fight at middleweight, and did the exact same thing to opponent number 2. Picked the guy up, walked him over to his corner, dumped him on his back and proceeded to finish him, imposing his will on his opponent. This man's grappling has been so dominant that his first 2 opponents had no answers whatsoever. Fight number 3, he took on Gerald Meerschaert. Now, Meerschaert was confident that he'd be able to derail the Khamzat hype train. Unfortunately though, Khamzat stepped in there and actually showed that he's got more sides than just his wrestling and grappling. He was able to knock Gerald out within, I think, the first 20 odd seconds of the very first round with a single punch. Now this guy can strike apparently with some pretty high level opponents. His wrestling and grappling is of course off the charts, and Khamzat was on such a meteoric rise. He was setting records. The fastest turnaround for 2 fights, the fastest turnaround for 3 fights, the fastest succession in which 3 finishes and 3 performance bonuses have been won in the modern era in the UFC. But unfortunately though, that momentum was halted when Khamzat ran into COVID. That was one opponent that he had a bit of a tough time with. He was originally scheduled to face Leon Edwards in a very high stakes matchup, and he had actually debuted on the welterweight rankings at number 15. Unfortunately, COVID happened. Khamzat was actually so badly affected that he announced his retirement midway through his recovery process. Well, lucky for us, that was actually just an emotional outburst, so you can imagine how badly he was affected by COVID. Thankfully though, he's back on track. He's back in the gym and he's ready to take on his next opponent in Lethal Leech, Jingliang. This one's gonna be a barn burner, but don't blink, because if we've seen anything from Khamzat so far, you might just miss it. Keep watching, like, share, subscribe. See you soon.